Olex Network 18, Mission Poshan, Bhavishya Roshan.
Hello and welcome to Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me is Mangalam Malu. Mangalam, good afternoon. And not a very pretty picture and not a very good way to end the week as well. At the moment, the markets are in the red. The Nifty 50 has also slipped further. In fact, there has been a lot of choppiness in the last few minutes of trade. In fact, the mid-cap index is the complete underperformer with 1.5% down, and it's Bank Nifty which has also slipped further down, though off the lowest point of the day, it seems, because ICICI Bank was one of the big supports which has lost some bit of momentum after clarifications really coming in from the company. HDFC Bank, which had been doing really well in the last few trading sessions, is seeing some profit booking as well. So since the mid-cap universe is really slipping in trade, the advance decline ratio and the market breadth is in the negative zone, Mangalam.
Absolutely, and usually you know the weakness in the mid-cap space when even Friday stocks are not doing well. So pull up something like a United Spirits, that one is at the low point of the day. Along with that, we have Godfrey Phillips. That one too should come up for you. Friday stocks, usually these are the ones which people associate with the weekend, and Godfrey Phillips too at the low point of the day. No drinking, no smoking. However, our weakness is pretty much in isolation given the growth that we saw in the Hang Seng index. At least the Shanghai was down about 0.2%, but the European markets, they've opened fairly strong. So all the three frontline indices in the Europe should come up for you. All of them gained in today's trading session and are gaining as we speak, primarily because remember late last night there is a coalition formed in Italy. So the Italian index, that one too should come up for you. That one's the key leader out there with a gain of almost 3%. So this coalition will end months of speculation over whether there is a government which will be formed in Italy or not. Remember, since the elections happened in March, there had been no government. However, one index which the street will be watching for is the Spanish index, because in southern Europe now there is another uncertainty. The Spanish Prime Minister faces a vote of no confidence, but that index too currently throwing caution to the wind, up about 0.8%. Looking good in the European region, so our loss is pretty much isolated.
Oh yes, and not a very good Friday it seems, but back home away from the global markets, where the government collects more than 94,000 crore rupees in goods and services tax for the month of May, which is, remember, higher than the average collection for the last financial year. Timsi Jaipuria has all the details on these numbers. Timsi.
Well, that's right. For the month of April, the GST collections have crossed 94,000 odd crore rupees. Now, let me run across through the breakup. The CGST collections are about 15,800 odd crore rupees. SGST collections are about 21,600 crore rupees. IGST at 49,000 odd crore rupees, including 24,000 collected from imports. And cess at about 7,300 odd crore rupees. Now, if you see the number of returns that have come in for the month of April, in the month of May, that are about 62 lakh returns that have come in for the month of April. Remember, this collection figure, that is 94,000 odd crore rupees, is a little less from the monthly average of 1.10 lakh crore rupees. Now, government had been indicating that government is unlikely to achieve the monthly average of 1.10 in the month of April and May, since these are early months of the fiscal. People have already filed up returns for their yearly targets, etc. in the month of March, which is why March collections were at 1 lakh crore rupees, which is the highest ever that we have seen since the GST has been rolled out. But yes, government is expecting the collections to improve as compliance improves with the rollout of e-way bill. These are early feelers of e-way bill. So once enforcement kicks in, once full rollout of both interstate and intrastate e-way bill comes in, the collections will improve. Back to you.
All right, MC, thanks a lot for that. Higher compliance leading to higher collections. We'll keep an eye out on that trend. But let's also hear out what GST Council member Morvin Godino had to say on the future of GST collections.
Government was looking to a little more higher figures and almost at least touching a lakh. So, but as you know, there are various factors that come into play. You cannot look at only the March figures, because that is the time when there are so many things happening, being the end of financial year. People have to meet targets, and then people pay up towards the end, and that's how the figures were much higher. The system has stabilized, and as the e-way bill has just been introduced, there has been a marginal, very marginal increase, and that is bound to increase further, which will give us good figures henceforth.
All right, so let's take it straight to the largest transaction that we have seen in the recent times, and Walmart's AGM is currently underway in Arkansas, and CNBC TV 18 is the only Indian channel in attendance there. Now, after several concerns were raised regarding the Walmart-Flipkart deal, well, Shireen Bhan caught up with Judith McKenna, who's the president and CEO of Walmart International, and began by asking her how worried is she about the resistance towards the deal.
We, first of all, we're really excited about this transaction and very excited about being part of India in a more expanded way than we are today. We're confident in the process that will occur. We understand that there are some people who have some views about this, but we're going to comply completely with anything that the authorities ask us for, and we expect this to be a smooth process.
Mm-hmm. The only approval that you require is from the Competition Commission of India, because this transaction comes under the 100% FDI route. So is that the only approval that you require from the government?
That is the approval that we require, and that's what we're complying with, yes.
Mm-hmm. Let me talk to you about the India opportunity, and specifically about what changes for Flipkart with this investment coming in. In terms of the operating structure, we're given to understand that not too much is going to change. But in terms of synergies and being able to leverage that, can you give me some sense of what the blueprint looks like over the next few months?
Yeah, so you're exactly right in terms of the operating structure. That remains as it is today. We're really confident in the team that's in place, and we want them to continue to run the business just as they do today. What we're hoping is that we can bring some support to the business, in different areas, both from Walmart into Flipkart, but Flipkart out to the rest of the world as well. And from an Indian perspective, if you think about an area like sourcing, we believe there's opportunities to globally source through Walmart for certain products, but equally, we think there's a big opportunity to source out of India back into the rest of the world. It's one of our fastest growing sourcing regions already, and we'd like to make sure that we continue to do that.
Any specific categories that you will focus on from a global sourcing perspective from India?
One of the opportunities may be around something like apparel. So what's great about Flipkart is that under the Myntra business, they already have a strong apparel business. We would like to be able to see if we could support that for them and perhaps offer them access to more ranges, more assortment as they progress. But everything will be done based on what the Flipkart team think is right for their customers, which is right for their market.
Speaking of the e-commerce opportunity in specific in India, and of course penetration, clearly there's a lot of headroom for more growth. What's your own sense of that? It's about 2.5% of the retail market today. What is your outlook about e-commerce in India? And in terms of investing further into Flipkart, 2 billion is what you're putting in with the option of doing another billion. What's your own sense about profitability as well?
So actually, if you think about the curves that you see around the world about how e-commerce has taken off on markets, generally they have been understated in every market where this has begun to be more developed. We think that could possibly be true for India as well. It is one of the fastest growing markets, as you know far better than I do. In terms of e-commerce, and although penetration is low, we do expect that to increase quite dramatically over the coming years. Our investment in Flipkart is a long-term investment. We're excited about the long-term future for this business, and we'll be right alongside them at every step of the way as they look to build the business, to build scale, to improve the mix of the business, and ultimately to offer service to the Indian customers.
All right, while market is closer to the low point of the day, the top nifty gainer is Bajaj Auto. That one after reporting robust sales for the month of May, 30% higher. And we also have the numbers from Maruti, Ashok Leyland, Eicher Motors. Sonia is here with all the details. Sonia, Motown looks good so far.
Well, thanks for that. I think the pick of the pack really is Bajaj Auto, as you rightly pointed out. After a long time, we've heard from Rajiv Bajaj, and he did mention that things are definitely picking up on all fronts for the company. A 30% growth this time is better than what the street estimated. He has given a forecast of a 10% growth for FY19, which is better than FY18. And he says that exports are picking up quite a bit, especially markets like Nigeria, which is their mainstay. So this time around, the silver lining really is the export market and how it's picked up. He did mention that three-wheeler growth will continue, but he has other companies which have moved well too. So if you look at, the likes of Maruti, you had Ashok Leyland, all delivered good numbers this time around. For Maruti, the strong sales this time was led by a 50% plus growth in the compact car segment. Overall, the total sales have gone up by about 26 odd %. Exports are up by about 48 odd % or so. If you look at the other names, the only disappointment this time was Eicher Motors, because Royal Enfield numbers were below street estimates and less than what they did last month. This despite them sorting a lot of their supply constraint issues, yet the numbers were below expectations. So there is some amount of disappointment that we're seeing with Royal Enfield. Ashok Leyland, after having a very, very weak month of April, has recovered quite a bit in the month of May. So Ashok Leyland sales also looking pretty good. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Sonia, for giving us that detailed analysis. And we spoke with Rajiv Bajaj, the MD of Bajaj Auto, and here's a snippet of that conversation.
For exports for the month of May, we have a growth of 31%. Year-to-date, 26%, led primarily by Nigeria for motorcycles, a growth from 20,000 to 70,000. So when Nigeria does well, Bajaj does well. On the three-wheeler business, we've had a remarkable run in exports. Egypt has doubled from 11,000 to 22,000 units year-to-date. Cambodia from virtually 0 to 5,000. Iraq from 0 to 2,500. Philippines from 1 to 3,000. So what is beginning to happen is that the three-wheeler business for us overseas is developing a very long and strong tail that is driving three-wheeler sales up there. So for exports, just to finish that, in June also, we are looking at a growth of about 30% based on orders in hand. At least 10% year-on-year growth should be there for the taking. We had a very good growth on the Pulsar. Year-to-date in the domestic market, we have a 40% growth in the Pulsar, and as you can imagine, that's very good. Three-wheelers growing at 80%, both in domestic and exports, is outstanding. And Forex is somewhat in our favor because we are budgeted at about 66 rupees to the dollar, whereas it's about a rupee and a half more. I would say a wee bit of a compromise in margins should be expected.
All right, just one note before we actually slip into the break in Business Lunch. Take a look at Tata Consultancy Services. In the last few minutes of trade, that has slipped quite substantially, almost 1% down. And take a look at rupee as well. I don't know if strengthening rupee is one of the big concerns. Of course, IT is seeing a weakish day in trade, but this is a sharp fall seen in Tata Consultancy Services. With that, we'll slip into a short breather. We'll take more account of the markets when we return, and we'll get you more on the markets as well as stock-specific action on the other side.
Welcome back. While the frontliners are under pressure, just keep an eye out on the mid-cap index. In excess of 300 points cuts seen there. Bata is a stock which is at the low point of the day. Along with that, we also have Havells, which has now slipped to the low point of the day. But the Nifty Bank has been dragged lower by ICICI Bank, which is off the high point of the day, after denying appointing any search committee to find Chanda Kocher's successor. The bank, remember, also denies having asked Chanda Kocher to go on leave. Ritu Singh joins us with more. Good afternoon, Ritu. All right, I think we will try connecting with Ritu in a bit. But meanwhile, the sum and substance is that ICICI Bank off the high point of the day after the clarification coming in from the management. But let's move on to another CNBC TV 18 exclusive. Then we have Mindtree. Sources suggest that they may sell, Mindtree may see some share sale by a large investor. Nisha, tell us what you're gathering.
Yeah, so Mangalam, we broke this story some time back, and after that the stock has really sharply come down and has stayed pretty much at those levels as well. And it is a minor correction in that stock, anticipating a huge amount of share sale and supply of that paper in the market, and therefore that stock has really fallen. Sources with direct knowledge share with us that VG Siddharth, who has been one of the oldest investors in Mindtree in the year 1999, he had entered the company, has over 20% stake along with his cafe Nescafe Coffee Day entities in the company is looking at monetizing a part of it. The company has done well. The stock price is at a lucrative, mouth-watering level, and he is looking at the kind of demand that financial investors have for this particular paper. So he's looking at 5 to 10% depending on the demand that the market has, and maybe looking at a share sale either through blocks or an offer for sale. Of course, VG Siddharth has really not commented on this, and Mindtree has said no comments on this particular development. And so that's the stock for you, and that could be a share sale that can be expected on Mindtree. But Ritu Singh is on the line with us, and on that big developing story on ICICI Bank and the leadership concerns that have arisen over there. Ritu, so we had been talking about how the company has denied appointing any search committee, and that Chanda Kocher's leave is also an annual planned leave.
Absolutely. You know, after reports surfaced this morning in newspapers that the board had decided to send Chanda Kocher on an indefinite leave pending the audit committee's report on the Videocon case dealings, the ICICI Bank has come out in strong denial of this report. They said that they have not asked the CEO, Chanda Kocher, to go on leave. They reiterated that this is part of our annual leave, which was planned in advance. It also denied that it had appointed any search committee to find her successor. In fact, we were also able to speak to some officials, some sources within the bank. What we understand is that Chanda Kocher has already proceeded on his leave, and her leave period will be well over a month, so it's possible that she returns only after the audit committee's findings are complete. We do understand that the probe will begin within the next few days, that is as early as next week itself. The search committee, the probe will begin, and the head will be appointed to take on this external probe as well. We also understand that the board will take a call on the appointment of a search committee only after the results of the probe are in, and whether, that will depend on whether or not there is any wrongdoing in the first place. So, ICICI Bank has made its stance very clear, at least this much, that Chanda Kocher has not been asked to leave just yet.
Okay, Ritu, thanks a lot for that. We'll keep an eye out on that story as it develops. The stock of the high point of the day. Let's take a short break, come back and we talk about the 10-day strike launched by farmers across India to press their demands. We get you more details. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch. Now on to some big developments in the country, and the Rashtriya Kisan Mahasangh has called for a 10-day village lockout starting from today to protest government's inaction. It has appealed to the farmers across the country to bring agricultural trade to a standstill by asking the farmers not to sell their produce as a protest against persistently low farm prices. Now our colleague Rohit Gaur joins us now straight from Ludhiana, Punjab. Rohit, many thanks for joining us. क्या लग रहा है, इसकी सफलता का कुछ चांस है? कितना सफल होगा ये कार्यक्रम?
जी बिल्कुल निशा, मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि आज सुबह से ही जो लुधियाना की सब्ज़ी मंडी में जो आलम देखने को मिला है वो मैं आपको दिखाना चाहूँगा कि सब्ज़ियाँ यहाँ पर मंडी में आई हुई हैं, पर यहाँ सप्लाई नहीं हो पा रही हैं। लोग इसको ख़रीदने के लिए नहीं आ रखे हैं, क्योंकि ये जो सब्ज़ी आप देख पा रही हैं ये कल से आई हुई हैं, और यहाँ कल देर रात से ही इन सब्जियों के जो दाम हैं वो बढ़ चुके हैं। लोग ख़रीदने से अब परहेज़ कर रहे हैं। कहीं ना कहीं उनका ये कहना है कि जिस तरीके से दाम बढ़ते जा रहे हैं उस तरीके से लोगों का सब्जियों में अब कहीं ना कहीं वो ख़रीद नहीं पाएंगे, क्योंकि 10 दिन का जो किसानों का प्रोटेस्ट है वो 10 दिन लगातार चलने वाला है। और किसानों ने साफ तौर पे कहा है कि किसी भी तरीके से कोई भी सप्लाई हम किसी भी मंडी में नहीं जाने देंगे। यहाँ तक कि जो दूध की सप्लाई है वो भी उन्होंने बंद कर दी है। और आज सुबह से ही पंजाब की कई सड़कों पर ऐसा भी देखने को हमें मिला है कि जो किसान मोर्चा है उन भाईचारों ने कई लोगों को जो सब्जी मंडी के लिए आ रहे थे यहाँ पर सब्जी सप्लाई करने के लिए, उनकी सब्जियाँ सड़कों पर फेंकी गई। दूध जो अगर कोई देने के लिए शहरों में आ रहा था तो उनका दूध भी फेंका गया है। तो ऐसा एक बड़ा हिस्सा देखने को, ऐसा एक बड़ा वाक़या हमें देखने को मिला है। तो इस चीज़ को लेकर हमारे साथ यहाँ के सब्ज़ी मंडी के कुछ व्यापारी हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं, जिनसे हम बात करेंगे, उनसे जानना चाहेंगे कि ये जो आज का जो आंदोलन शुरू हुआ है सब्जी मंडी से, जो सप्लाई बंद कर दी गई है, इसका कितना असर पड़ा है व्यापार के ऊपर? जी सर, आप बताएंगे हमें कि कितना असर पड़ा है व्यापार के ऊपर जो 10 दिन अगर सब्जी नहीं आती है तो?
बहुत बड़ा जी, बहुत बढ़ेगा, आगे बहुत बढ़ेगा। बिल्कुल मार्केट में माल ही नहीं आएगा जी। हाँ जी, किसान लोग माल ही नहीं भेजेंगे बिल्कुल ही।
सर एक चीज़ और हमसे आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, कितनी तादाद में यहाँ पर लुधियाना की सब्जी मंडी में सब्जी आती है और किस तरीके से कितने कस्बों को यहाँ से सप्लाई की जाती है?
मेरे हिसाब से 80 या 85 कस्बों में माल जाता है जी। कम से कम 120 या 130 करोड़ बंदों को जो यानी कि पब्लिक को सब्जी लगती है डेली। हाँ जी, उसमें हिसाब से किसी को आज थोड़ा बहुत माल मार्केट में आया यानी कि यानी कि 24 साल लगा लो, चौथा हिस्सा फॉरन वाला। हाँ जी, चौथा हिस्सा आया। आगे वो कल से मेरे हिसाब से वही बंद हो जाएगा। जैसे कि देखो जलंधर मंडी वालों ने स्ट्राइक कर दी है, जलंधर वालों ने स्ट्राइक कर दी, शाहजहांपुर वालों ने बिल्कुल मंडी बंद कर दी। कल उन्होंने हम ही किसानों के साथ हैं जिनके सिर पे हम रोटी खाते हैं। हाँ, उनके हम साथ पूरा देंगे। कल हमें अगर कोई स्पॉन्स ना मिला, जैसे कि कोई डीजल के रेट कम ना हुए, कुछ भी ना मिला, कल लुधियाना मंडी भी अगर 99 में हमारे प्रधान जी ने, हमारे जो चेयरमैन वगैरह सभी ने कल मीटिंग करनी है सुबह 7 बजे। हमें कोई डिसीजन ना मिला, हम किसान भाइयों के साथ हैं और कल मंडी हम 8 बजे तक बंद कर देंगे।
जी बिल्कुल निशा, आप देख सकते हैं कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ के जो व्यापारी है वो भी कहीं ना कहीं किसानों के समर्थक में उतरे हुए हैं। उनका साफ तौर पे कहना है कि जो किसानों ने आज का आंदोलन छेड़ा हुआ है वो वाजिब है, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से पेट्रोल और डीजल के रेट बढ़ रहे हैं उनका सीधा सीधा असर किसानी पर पड़ रहा है। किसानी को लेकर जो, क्योंकि एक बड़ा हिस्सा जो ट्रैक्टर रहता है, जो ट्रैक्टर के द्वारा ही किसानी की जाती है, तो उसका।
All right, Rohit, thanks a lot for joining in with all those details. We will keep an eye out on this story as it develops. With that, it's a wrap on Business Lunch. Stay tuned to CNBC TV 18. Midcap Radar comes up next.